Brooklyn-based art and lifestyle platform Guilty by Association hosted a sneak peek of Rurban by Roots Studio, a collection of contemporary streetwear co-created with indigenous artists from around the world.
Part of the reason why we bridge cultures, especially into fashion and retail, is because fashion is a $2.4 trillion industry every year that is constantly starving for new designs and inspiration and artwork, which is why you have this whole situation called cultural appropriation, right? And at Roots, we say, hey, what if we can actually bring these artists and communities to the forefront of that conversation so they can also have a seat at the table in terms of how their artwork is represented, how their stories are told, and how their sacred designs are not misused in the place of fashion.
Guilty by Association, GBA, is all about power, numbers, community, and being like 1 degree away. And the combination of GBA and Roots Studio is perfectly aligned. We felt like the values of what they were doing as an organization was a perfect match to be in our space. So tonight the idea is to showcase all this amazing work, sell pieces, and build community around all the process and the amazing things that Rebecca and her team has done.
A new member of the Explorers Club Class of 50, Rebecca brings cultural preservation to the 21st century.
When I was with the Explorers Club 50, I was like, this is the type of people I need to be around every day to feel normal. These are really people that I look up to, and that's something that I think for people who are trying to really push the unknown, really follow their heart, it's really important to be around people like that. We bridge these artists and communities to large brands around the world and make sure that the artists are also compensated and get a royalty for the work that is being used in a collection. We have over 4.2 million products in distribution with partner brands that are across American retail.
For almost a decade, the social enterprise Roots Studio has worked with indigenous artist collectives in Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America to digitize their cultural works for use in innovative ways, preserving endangered creativity and facilitating economic sustainability through art-building partnerships with notable brands such as Patagonia, Cartier Women's Initiative, and Chanel Foundation, and collaborating with over 31 indigenous communities globally.
I really love what she's doing, working with indigenous communities and like uplifting their art forms, because I feel like a lot of this art gets lost in translation. Like, why not just like collaborate and bring in the artisan and embrace the artist and have equal exchange with the artist?
Camilla Elke was hard at work in front of her sewing machine, planning to relaunching 555 Soul to tell untold stories about New York City streetwear. In 1989, Camilla Elke was a 19-year-old art school dropout with a passion for sewing. She launched her pioneering streetwear label, 555 Soul, out of a storefront apartment on Ludlow Street in Manhattan's Lower East Side. 555 Soul is making a comeback this year, and Camilla Elke will lead the creative direction for her pioneering streetwear label. Here are all the details.
It was pretty gritty. New York City in the late 80s, early 90s was definitely like a very colorful place. 555 was more in this like underground raucous records, like mixtape kind of vibe. Basically, I had this dream to have a store, and basically the store was a studio. I had a sewing machine in the store, and I was doing exactly what I'm doing now, full circle, where I'm customizing pieces, where people can come in, pick out whatever patch or a sleeve or a hood that they wanted, and I would fabricate it and connect it all together. Us as creatives and artists, like, we're here to inspire and we're here to influence, and I think Virgil was one of those people that just was like constantly inspired by everything and anything around him, and he wanted to uplift everyone around him. So he reached out. We had a few mutual friends in the music industry and just friends in the community, and he reached out and was like, what are you up to? What are you doing? You know, you were a big inspiration to me. And he's like, let's do a collection together. So I was like, send me your dead stock, send me, you know, any leftovers you have laying around the studio, that type of thing. And he did, and I looking at these iconic old chairs, and I'm like, no one's gonna get rid of them. How about redress them? So I sort of was making fashion for the furniture. And I basically just started sewing up his fabric and made these covers. And that's kind of where it started. We're all GBA family, and I think what GBA stands for is about that. So if we're gonna call ourselves GBA family, we all have to work together to uplift each other. I like this direct storytelling. I think it's really important for us to like uplift each other as artists, creatives, even as industry people and consumers, and like understand the storytelling behind it.
Rebecca tells NYC Vibe that Root Studio will launch a series of 3 urban collections in the second half of 2023 with Guilty by Association. A 20% royalty net profits goes directly to the Indigenous artists and community funds in their villages.
Letting go and seeing how other creatives bring in their own element, bring in their own soul, bring in their own influence is something that is just an endless well of inspiration. When I ultimately see garments that come together between a designer from New York and a community that I've been working with for years, and knowing those two worlds coming together in a really thoughtful and respectful way is something that's pretty magical.
Later this year, anticipated drop mashups with iconic NYC labels Philip Lim 3.1, Noah, and 555 Soul will take place.
Seeing this manifested in a different way with GBA and seeing all of these incredible talented Indigenous artists to be doing something they're so passionate about, different generation of artists passing along their craft, their art, and their experiences and sharing with the community. I mean, this is what it is all about. So events and energy like this is a great reminder why we're here and why we love what we do and why this is so important, even more so today than ever. Philip and I have been so fortunate enough to be able to start our own company back at 2005, and along the way we have connected and collected incredible creatives, talents, mentors, mentees. Looking back at almost 18 and a half years of my career with 3-1 Philip Lim and with Philip Lim, it is the people and the collaborations that has really stayed with me and stayed with the company, and that's our purpose.
Our main goal is to build a fun, inclusive space that empowers everyone to be their superhero. We understood that we must do what we can to change the narrative. So why not lean into our unique stories and combined influence into projects that shine positive light on our beautiful cultures?
You have to believe in yourself, because when you do that, you'll inspire others to believe in themselves. Without diversity and inclusion, there would not be American fashion. A group like ours, House of Slay, was founded upon that.
Success means to me that people are able to view the product and allow places and divisions like this to help us show the world what's out there. The reality of it is this talent is sometimes hiding in plain sight, and it requires organizations like GBA and Root Studio to bring these voices to life and to show the world this does exist and there's real opportunity for everyone who's out there. People see reflections of themselves, and that's the most important thing. If you can see a reflection of yourself out there, you know it's a possibility.
I just remember waking up every day and saying, if what I'm doing today feels aligned and congruent with my heart and my values, I'll keep doing it, and as long as my skills are adjacent to what I'm putting my hands to every day, I'm gonna keep doing it.